On this problem, we need to complete the square in order to figure out the couple of solutions that there probably are to the equation. The problem is, before we can complete the square, we've got to deal with this negative, we've got to deal with this -2 sitting out front. And the way you deal with that is by factoring it out. So I'm going to take out a -2 from the first couple of terms. That means I'll have an x squared for my first term. And then for my next term, if I got a -2 and I want to get to +8, that means I need to put back a -4. Because -2 times -4 gives me that +8 that I started out with. The third number will be my box number. And on the right-hand side, I'll have the -6 that was there before. And then I'm going to add this negative. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I'll have a +3 over here as well. And then I'll have to figure out what number I'm adding onto the right side once I figure out what I'm putting in the box on the left side. So ignoring the -2 for a second, just focusing on the 3 terms in the parentheses, we need to figure out the box number for the left-hand side. We take half of -4, which is -2, and we square the result to get a +4. That is the number that will go in the box here. But the weird thing is, by putting that 4 in the box, don't forget this -2 is going to distribute into it. So by putting a +4 in the box, we have really reduced the left side by 8. I know it looks like a +4, and that by itself is a +4. But when you consider there's a -2 getting looped into it, you're really reducing the left side by 8. That is the net change on the left side. Since we reduced the left side by 8, when we put that fake number in there, we've got to also reduce the right side by 8 so that we keep things balanced. And then we can proceed. If I factor the stuff in parentheses, I'm going to end up with x - 2 and x - 2. I'm going to call that x - 2 squared. On the right-hand side, we have -6 and -8. That's -14 plus 3. That's -11. Now we need to isolate the x in this equation. So the first thing we want to get rid of is the -2 multiplier that's out front. If I divide both sides by -2, a -11 over a -2 is like a +11 over 2. Then I can take the square root of both sides. I get x - 2 equals plus and minus. I'll call it square root of 11 over square root of 2. Add 2 to both sides. And then if you read in the directions, it did say that we need to rationalize denominators when necessary. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom of this fraction by the square root of 2. That'll turn the top into the square root of 22. It'll turn the bottom into the square root of 4, which is just regular old 2. And deuces are really wild in this answer. They're everywhere. That would be your final simplified answer.